What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com, and I'm excited to be diving into today's topic with you guys because we're going to be going over the 3 biggest fat loss mistakes, but most importantly, you're going to be learning how to correct these mistakes so that way you can have success at reaching your health and fitness goals. Let's dive right in. And let me just say this is going to be completely different than what you're thinking of. But before we dive into the biggest mistakes, let's first go over, what people normally do when they try to lose body fat, because I think that's fair to address first and foremost. And for starters, I'm sure this is going to sound very relatable to most people out there. But when somebody's trying to lose weight, right, trying to lose body fat, they'll typically go on a diet. Now, either that diet is either very restrictive, where they're cutting out their favorite foods, maybe they're cutting out carbohydrates, maybe they're cutting out alcohol, sugar, processed foods, or they're not cutting out anything. They just need to focus on eating in a very, very, very low calorie deficit. It's kind of like the, hey, calories in versus calories out mentality, so to speak, right? There's other things that people do also, right? Tons and tons of cardio, or maybe like one of those at-home workouts, right? P90X, Beachbody, Insanity, or they decide to show up and just get a gym membership and just start working out nonstop, doing a whole bunch of cardio, spending all this time, not really knowing too much about how to train their body properly, but also at the same time, they're just thinking, hey, it must be very simple. I must be just burning more calories than I'm consuming, right? Once again, calories in versus calories out. I hate to say this, but that's why, basically 50% of the US population is considered, overweight. And it's because when they try to go on a diet or try to lose body fat or anything like that, they're doing things that don't really work for them. And most of the time, it always works very, very well in the very beginning. But think about it. You're making any kind of adjustment, right? You're cutting certain things out. It's new. It's kind of like that shiny object syndrome, to where the first 5, 10, 15 pounds are very, very easy to lose. But then eventually you kind of hit this wall, right? And at that point, most people, they quit. They throw in the weight towel. They go back to their old ways, and they end up regaining that weight right back, unfortunately. And they typically do that and end up quitting because, one, they stop seeing results. And when somebody stops seeing progress, they get kind of demotivated and they get kind of discouraged. And they're like, oh man, this was working so well for me. Like, what's going on all of a sudden? And typically it's because they don't know how or when to make adjustments. So it really doesn't matter in terms of like what your nutrition plan is, what your training plan is. It really doesn't matter too much at all. What matters is, do you know, right, when and how to make adjustments? Because let's face it, your metabolism will change and it will adapt. And it's called metabolic adaptation. So if you know when and how to make adjustments for specifically your body type, you can help yourself get through those kind of stalls or plateaus. And the other reason why most people quit is just because what they're doing isn't really flexible for them and their lifestyle. Now, let's focus on the 3 biggest mistakes, and most importantly, how can we correct that? How can we make sure we learn from this presentation to carry us on our weight loss journey, have success, but not just short-term success, most importantly, long-term success? Hear me out. This is going to be very, very valuable for you guys. The first one here is why people once again fail. The biggest, 3 fat loss mistakes. The first one is it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You kind of heard me say that people typically quit. They throw in the weight towel. They go back to their old ways. Why? Because it's not sustainable. And I mean overall picture here too. I'm not talking just nutrition, right? If you're cutting out your carbs, obviously that's maybe not sustainable for you and your lifestyle, right? I'm talking about training. I'm talking about your mindset. I'm talking about just what you're doing to help you have success at reaching your goals. It's not sustainable. And that's the biggest mistake, hands down. Right? It's the biggest mistake in anything that you do trying to reach your goals. You have to do something that's sustainable for you. And what does that mean in terms of health and fitness? Well, however old you are now, Can you do what you're currently doing right now? Let's say you're working out, you're doing this diet, whatever the case may be. Can you do that consistently for, let's say, 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Most of the time when people do these fad diets or these one-size-fits-all plans or anything like that, they can't stick with it long term. They can't be consistent. And that's why they give up. Because what they're doing is not sustainable for them. It's not flexible for their lifestyle. That's why at Heartletics, we preach, literally preach about this. You need to do something that you enjoy doing. What we focus on is creating better habits for somebody. So that way they learn, they're gaining that knowledge, they're getting that understanding of how to do this all specifically for them, but most importantly, how to do it in a way where it's flexible for their lifestyle. I'm sure you heard the phrase most people can't, have. You can either give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man how to fish and feed him for the rest of his life. And I love this quote right here. The reason most people fail instead of succeed is that they trade what they want the most for what they want at the moment. And that is coming from Napoleon. And once again, most people, right? That's the biggest mistake that they do, is they focus on doing something that's going to cut corners or instantly get them results like, oh, I just need to lose 15 pounds. I'm just going to, cut out my favorite foods and not eat any carbs ever again and, just basically do all this cardio. Well, that's great. But what is the point of doing something like that that's not sustainable? You end up eventually losing the 15 pounds. But what's the point if you just regain it right back? And typically, that's what most people do. And year after year, it's the same old song and dance. They lose the weight, they gain the weight, they lose the weight, they gain the weight. You see this all the time when it comes for like New Year's resolutions. People start off going 100 miles per hour in the very beginning of the new year, but then fall off the wagon and failing, by typically February, just a few short weeks, months into it. So the biggest fat loss mistake is, number one, you're doing something that's not sustainable for you. And that's either with your nutrition, maybe that's with your training, maybe that's not knowing how to optimize and change things around best suited for your body type to help you out of those metabolic stalls. But regardless, if you want to have success in anything that you do, especially on your health and fitness journey, you need to be doing something that's sustainable for you. That's why at Heartletics, once again, we focus on habits, right? Teaching and coaching our members how to create habits that work best for them, works best for their lifestyle, and really give them all the guidance, the tools, the support, the accountability to ensure that they know what to do to have success. Very similar to in the very beginning when somebody's learning how to drive a car, they have to go through driver's ed school. And they typically have a driving ed instructor sitting in their passenger seat. But guess what? When that individual passes their test and eventually gets their license, it's not like that driving instructor is still sitting in the passenger seat anymore. Now, imagine if somebody, right, educated you just like somebody probably educated you to drive a car where you can do it for the rest of your life, but in this sense, educating you about your body type and how to fit in your favorite foods, despite if you're traveling or on vacation, teaches you how to train properly, right? Depending if you have, short time frame or past and current injuries, or whether you work out at home or whether you work out at the gym, it doesn't matter, but taught you, right? And most importantly, held you accountable to ensure that you're getting the results that you're looking for. Now, the second biggest mistake when it comes to what guys make when losing body fat, right, is the lack of support. And I can't stress this enough. This is why, hands down, the heart in Heartletics is the community group. In fact, the reason why I'm making this presentation is because this was a great conversation that we just had inside one of our live coaching calls with all of our members. We were talking about basically one of our newest members. He said, man, I feel so great now that I signed up for this coaching program. And so I asked him in front of everybody, I said, why do you feel so great? And he said, because I just know for a fact I'm going to have success. This is different. This is something that I can stick with. He mentioned about how he did P90X. He tried cutting out his carbs, tried cutting out alcohol, tried paleo, all these different diets, all these different programs before in the past, and would always just fail about 3 or 4 weeks in. And he mainly said the three reasons why he would fail is because, right? Is because of just doing something that's not sustainable for them. Doing something where there's no support at all. Community is everything. And obviously the third is what we're going to get to here in a little bit. But it was just so inspiring to kind of hear what he had to say about how different Heartletics is compared to everything else that he tried. He's getting all the personal support, the 24/7 communication, the community groups, the personalized workouts, the personalized meal plan, and just teaching him, guiding him how to do this all to best fit in with his lifestyle to create habits out of it. And it's just great hearing the other members on that call just chime in and kind of talked about how, Heartletics is just so personalized compared to anything else that they tried. But the best part is the fact that they don't have to cut anything out. In fact, Bill, he's somebody that got off his medications. He's somebody that lost over 55 pounds. Amazing, amazing guy to talk to. He mentioned to our newest members, he said, you know what? He said, I think this is the reason why Heartletics is so successful, at least for himself, he said. He said he tried Weight Watchers, he tried all these different things out there, and every single time he had to cut something out. But instead, Heartletics is the only thing where he's gaining something, right? He's not cutting anything out. Instead, with Heartletics, he's gaining something. He's gaining the knowledge of knowing how to properly eat, knowing how to properly train. He's gaining a different mindset. He's gaining a community of all these hundreds of other guys that are just like him, there to support, and hold him accountable to reaching their goals and having success. That's why I love this quote right here from Les Brown. It says, help others achieve their dreams and you will achieve your dreams. Think about that. Think about that just by helping others. And that's why, once again, the community group, right? That's the heart in Heartletics. I mean, think about it like this. If you went out to war and let's say you had no brothers in arms next to you, it was just you by yourself against this big army, how successful would you really be? Now on the flip side, if let's say you had your brothers in arms next to you, you guys were your battle buddies, you guys cared for each other, you would feel so confident going into battle because you got your buddies with you. What is the confidence that you have when it comes to reaching your health and fitness goals? Do you feel confident? Do you know how to get there? Do you have the support to help you get there? Do you have the knowledge to get there? Do you have the proper mindset to get there? These are things that you just need to kind of ask in yourself, And I stress you not. Every dog has its day. Nobody's perfect by any means. Not even myself included. But, hear me out. When you have hundreds of people that's there to support you, hold you accountable, encourage you, support you, especially on those days when you don't feel like showing up to become the best version of yourself, these guys are going to be there to kick you in the butt and get you out of that little, pity party that you're having right now. And they're going to be able to support you. They're going to be able to encourage you. They're going to be able to lift you up and get you one step closer to your goals. Because that's what we do at Heartletics. We're a wolf pack, ride or die. And this is why the members, form together. And we come together and make sure that, hey, everybody is a part of that unit, we like to say. Where we know, hey, what is our mission? What is our goal? How do we fill up our cups each and every day and become the best version of ourselves? That way we can pour out more into others, pour out more into the community, pour out more into our families, pour out more into our friends, our coworkers. And it all starts with us making that investment within ourselves to become the best version of ourselves. Now, the third, right, the last thing on here, right, in terms of, the top three biggest reasons, right, why people fail at reaching their health and fitness goals. This third one is huge, and it's limiting beliefs. It's one of the biggest mistakes you can have is these limiting beliefs. And I love this quote here from Brad Turnbull. To change your life, you must change your mindset. So what is your mindset? And honestly, take a second and think about that. Because I know for a fact that the guys that we coach in the very beginning, when they had to go through this process of, having these discovery calls with our team and, just applying for our coaching program, their mindsets was horrible. Meaning they either thought, oh, I've tried everything under the sun and nothing works for me. I'm never going to lose weight. I'm not going to be successful. Guess what? That limiting belief is what is going to predict their future, and they're not going to be successful because they don't believe it. And sometimes you need people in your corner to help you have a new mindset, to help you defeat that bad wolf and just literally destroy those self-limiting beliefs. We know other people that also, apply for our coaching program, and they think they know everything. They're like, oh, carbs are the devil. You shouldn't be eating that at all. And once again, fixed mindset. They're not open. They're not open to change. They have these limiting beliefs. Oh, you can't eat like that. Oh, you can't do that. You can't have that. It's like we've been doing this for years. We've helped out thousands of people. Come on. The transformations are insane, and everybody's saying the same thing. Like, you can eat whatever you want. We teach you. We educate you. Right? There is no good foods versus bad foods. This is the belief of, hey, food equals fuel. This is the belief of, hey, you're learning how to properly eat for your body type. This is the belief of, hey, you can become the best version of yourself mentally and physically. You can maybe get off your medications for your blood pressure or cholesterol if you've been on for years. You can, reverse your type 2 diabetes. We have literally dozens of guys reversing their type 2 diabetes, lowering their A1C levels. And at the time, or in the very beginning, when they were applying, for discovery calls and applying for our coaching program, these guys didn't think it was possible. But when you have the right team of people to help you out, it's literally anything is possible. Hundreds of guys getting off their medication. All these guys talking about all the confidence they have, not just taking off their shirts at, the pool, playing with their kids, but also just confidence in the bedroom, right? Fitting into their old favorite clothes, that self-esteem of looking at themselves in the mirror, everything like that. More energy to keep up with their kids once and for all. Like, literally, we're giving, right, these members that decide saying, hey, I need to do something. I need to make a change, and I know I'm worth it. I just don't know how to get there from point A to point B, right? I might need a team to help me out. And these guys that figured out, hey, maybe Heartletics is the best solution for them, we guarantee those results because we're giving them a new mindset. We're giving them a new perspective. We're giving them power. Power to be in control of their life once and for all. So as we wrap up things here, remember, these are the 3 biggest fat loss mistakes. The first thing is it's not sustainable. The second, lack of support. And the third, self-limiting beliefs. So keep this in mind, because the flip side of all this is that if you're doing something that is sustainable for you and your lifestyle and your goals, and you can become consistent with and constantly see progress with, and obviously you acquire the knowledge of knowing when and how to make adjustments, then you're good. If you're also, right, having that support, having that community, having people that's going to hold you accountable and pick you up in those times when you need it the most, then guess what? You're good. And lastly, right, if you are able to shift and change around your mindset and start feeling worthy and deserving that you can become the best version of yourself mentally and physically, so that way, guess what? You can start pouring more out into others and help out others as well, then guess what? You're good. But if you're lacking in any of those and you don't have those in your life right now, I encourage you, right? Make a change. Realize that your health is worth it. Your life is worth it. When you truly decide, and it is a commitment, because you need to have it, right? You want to have it bad enough. Like, you need to prioritize yourself and just say, I'm going to decide. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to go after my goals, and I'm going to do something regardless of how I feel each and every day, because I'm worthy. I'm deserving of becoming the best version of myself. Hopefully you guys got some inspiration from today's episode, going over the 3 biggest fat loss mistakes. And hear me out, it doesn't have to be hard. I say that all the time, and trust me on this one. As long as you're doing something that is sustainable, as long as you have that support, and as long as you have the right mindset, anything that you do, you will have success at reaching your goals. But who knows? Maybe you're somebody that has been struggling for years, or maybe you're somebody that you just want somebody to take out all the guesswork, right? So that way they can just make those fine, small little tweaks, help you with learning, right? The education process of learning how to do things properly for your body type, your goals, so that way you can learn these sustainable habits. That way you can reach your goals once and for all and be done with it. Well, then guess what? I highly encourage you, hey, click on the link down below, schedule a discovery call. Talk with somebody from our team and just see if maybe Heartletics can help you at having success. And as always, guys, this has been Coach Joe with the Heartletics podcast. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.